Hello, booktubers. My name is Rick, and I have been trying to continue with a booktube video of my own, but I'm far and few between. Don't know that there are many that watch, but that's okay. I wanted to take you back to the 50s again. Back when I was in grammar school, one of the things that they gave us on a weekly basis was my weekly reader. And I got this book because I just wanted to look through and see what it was we read back in those days. One of the big things was in '57, whenever they had the news about Sputnik. That was a major thing back when I was a child. One of the things they did not mention in this book, though, was the IGI, the International Geophysical Year. And that was 1957 through 1958, maybe a little longer than that. And it was scientists who were looking at the world and checking it out and providing information on what they were doing. So I don't know why they didn't mention that. I thought that I remembered that from this particular magazine or news. This was a newspaper, because in grammar school they wanted to get us in the habit of reading newspapers. And this was our newspaper, which gave us information about the world in a news format. It was a great magazine that we had during those days. Now, it lasted from way before I was born, 1928, up through 1988. But I remember it from 1952 through 1958. We had a weekly news. It was like a newspaper, and we would get it, and we read it, and we kept up with current events through the weekly reader. But the reason I bring this up is because my weekly reader also had a book club. And I graduated from the comic books that I was reading to books through the weekly reader book club. And a couple of the ones, I have a couple of the ones that I remember from those days, and a couple of three others that I picked up from eBay. The main one that I remember is David and the Phoenix. And it stuck with me for a long time. You can get it as an ebook for free. And it was just a fun adventure story for kids. And it stuck with me for a long time. Another one was Danny Dunn and the Anti-Gravity Paint, which was just it was just an adventure that children would enjoy. All of these books, had children in them so that you could relate to them. And this particular one, there was a scientist that this boy, Danny Dunn, was friends with, and he discovered a paint that could nullify gravity, so that whatever it was painted with, of course now they discovered it had to have some electricity added to it to touch it off so that it would lift away from the earth. And the adventures they go through are just fun adventures. Now, David and the Phoenix was about a mythical bird who took this boy on adventures to mythical lands. Only 4 adventures. I thought there were more, but I reread it and I enjoyed it again. Now, Danny Dunn had several. There was Danny Dunn and the Swamp Monster, Danny Dunn and the Fossil Cave, and there were several others. I can't remember. These were written by, let's see, J. Williams and Raymond Abrashkin. And David and the Phoenix was written by Edward Ormondroyd. I don't know if I pronounced that correct or not. But these were the books that got me started. And my parents were very good to me. They allowed me to join the book club, and I got a book every month, just like the Book of the Month Club, except this was for children. And I had a large collection of these, and whenever I got into, not high school, but junior high school, I gave them all to my cousin, who seemed to enjoy them. Now, one other one that I really liked was called Follow My Leader. It was about a boy who, through an accident, lost his sight. One of his friends threw a firecracker, and it blew up in front of his face, which destroyed his eyes. So he was blind, or made blind at a young age. You know, the same age that I was back then. And he learned Braille. He learned how to navigate the world through putting an arm up and an arm out so that he could walk around and keep from bumping into things because he touched something, or if he missed it, he would bump into his arm. And I remember closing my eyes for a while and just walking around the house like that, trying to imagine what it was like to be blind. Very good book. And he got a seeing eye dog. And it was just a really good, if you'll excuse the expression, an eye-opening book about blindness. Now, on McNulty's Book Corral, he talked about this book too, and it was a different book club that he got it from. It wasn't the Weekly Reader Book Club, but it was a different one. I can't remember because it was a while back that I saw his video on the Follow My Leader. Follow My Leader was written by James B. Garfield. And if you have children or grandchildren, I would suggest checking into these old books because they were uplifting, not like the books I've seen for children today where it's dystopian things or things that I don't even want to talk about. But these were books with a positive attitude, a positive outlook, and a positive outcome. And they were good for us as children. Like I say, I remember especially Follow My Leader and Danny and the Phoenix. Just wonderful books, wonderful adventures for children. Very optimistic. And another one, let's see, it was called Ojibwe Drums by Marion Magoon. It was about an Indian boy named Little Half Sky. And he helped his tribe defeat his enemy. Another wonderful adventure for children. And you got to see some of the customs of the Ojibwe tribes. Another good book for children. Much better than the books that I've seen in today's world. And a little more, not difficult, but a little more depth to the stories than some of these others I've seen these days recommended as children's books. I don't know. I think that the children today miss a lot because they don't have these books, because they asked more of you than just, I don't know, they seem trivial to me. These, they weren't really trivial. They were good stories. They captured the imagination of a child. They captured my imagination as a child. And they took me to places that I would never have gone before. Back in the days of tribal warfare, Danny and his anti-gravity paint, they went to Mars. It was just fun. And David and Phoenix, they just went on adventures to mythical areas, meeting mythical creatures and people. It was fun, just plain fun. And like I say, they seem to open the eyes of a child. They brought more to me than the funny books I had been reading as a child. I mean, you read the words and you looked at the pictures. These, you read the words and the pictures evolved in your head, which was totally different from me. And like I say, I thoroughly enjoyed being a member of the Weekly Reader Book Club and receiving an adventure like this every month. Every month. All good, all worth reading, and still, to me, to this day, worth a child's picking up and just becoming involved. Okay, that's possibly my last deep dive into the 50s, and perhaps the next one I'll get a little more into the adults. I don't know. I just enjoyed remembering these things, and I thought that it might be fun just to share them with you guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short moment with me, and I appreciate your watching. Take care of yourselves. God bless you till the next time. Bye-bye.